retweet. And it should be up there. And let's see if we're showing up. Oh, we're coming in. Yeah. We're coming in. I see us in.
All right.
Yeah.
I see it. Yay.
Yay. So we got a bunch of people in. So we got 23 people in here so far. We're getting warmed up.
I just retweeted. So we'll see how retweets do on Twitter.
Okay. That's awesome.
Hello, everybody.
I just got a notification that you retweeted. So
I also have the chat open, so I can see that too.
Awesome. Awesome. So we got Pablo in here and Stefano.
Viper
Dan
is Brown.
Yeah, Viper is the captain of Team Apple, he says.
Oh.
Yeah. So he calls himself that. And there's Roberto Blake. Roberto, nice to see you.
Roberto, hello.
Yeah.
My buddy, concept creator. Hi. Oh my goodness. I once put concept creator through a crazy all-night project. He stayed up all night and made some iPad, what was the iPad X, but iPad 10 concepts. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. We need to get some more concepts.
We do. I love them. They're my favorite thing.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
Carlos, hello. Pablo, Go Animations. We got everybody here. Whole squad.
We're over like 110, 13 people. So
yay.
You have quite the reach.
This is great.
So yeah, I was thinking I needed to hire concept creator as well, Roberto. I want to get some like iPhone mock-ups figured out, but I don't know. I'm still poor. So
he's the best. He's so talented.
Yeah. Yeah. So how is everyone doing tonight? We got
They said they don't see me, I think. Wait, can you guys not see me?
I think, is your camera live?
It could be a me problem. Hold on. Wait, no, now I turned it off. No, I think it's on. Oh yeah, I've got I still call it the eyesight camera. Is that what they still call it? Or it's a FaceTime camera now.
FaceTime camera now, yes. Yeah.
They don't see me. Guys, I'm here, I promise you. Is it a me problem? No. Okay, wait. Turn camera off. It is on.
Okay. Go to settings and see like which camera. I mean, there should only be one camera.
Yeah, I see it because I can see myself in the little corner.
Yeah. And I see you too.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. See, this never goes perfectly.
Is there like a different view? Wait. Okay. So, I don't know.
All right. I don't know either. Let me look at some things. Cameraman.
Says go to, oh no, that's it. Oh, Sam said, go to settings, story of my life.
Yeah. I see you now.
Oh, you see me?
Yeah. You're popping in when you talk.
Oh, there we are. Yay. Okay. Hello, everybody.
Yeah. So I don't know. Sometimes Hangouts just want to do what they're doing until they're done.
I never, whenever there's like a meeting where they're like, it's going to be a Hangout. I'm like, my computer, my house burned down. Sorry, I can't do a Hangout. It's sorry. I can't do it. My computer just happened to explode. It's not working any longer.
Yeah. And I'm doing the Hangouts with this at this point because eventually I want to get some dedicated software, but I'm waiting for people that I know to sort of grease the wheels for some of the good stuff.
Well, the Hangouts and stuff for this, but it's usually like meetings that people want to have like Hangout meetings. And I'm like, well, see, here's the thing. You're in an office. I'm at my house and I just woke up. So see, that's where this is not going to work out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, you can always turn the camera off. But
I know, but then it's a whole thing. Then they're like, oh, she turned the camera off. Like, what's going on? But either way, I'm very excited. So thanks for having me on. And hello to everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. This is gonna be awesome. Illegal copy. What illegal copy are you talking about, Pablo? I'm hypersensitive to people accusing me of things now. So
oh, welcome to the internet.
Oh yeah.
Always accused of something.
Yeah, I know. It's a thing. So, yeah. So maybe we should just go ahead and get started. We got almost 200 people in here.
Cool.
So I'm gonna do the intro, and I'm not gonna mess it up.
And I'll be quiet.
Yeah, and then I'll introduce you, and you'll say whatever you want to say.
Okay.
And off we go. Okay. Hey there, friends on YouTube. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech, the podcast. The podcast so honest it hurts. Thank you so much for coming back and seeing us again this week. I'm beside myself at this moment for a very good reason. We have with us a guest today that this is my favorite guest so far. No, you know, we got iJustine here. Say hello.
Hello. I was trying to be very, very quiet so I didn't ruin your intro.
No, I ruined it myself.
This is so exciting. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. This is amazing. So the way that I usually start the podcast off, I kind of like to get to know a little bit more. I mean, you're well known. People know some of the details about who you are, but let's get a little bit more history when it comes to iJustine. Or do you prefer just Justine?
You know, iJustine, whatever.
Okay, we'll see how it goes. So tell us a little bit about your background and like how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the quick story is, oh boy, it's not a quick story, but I'm going to try my best. I've always been super into technology and video games ever since I was very, very little. So I think it was like 6th grade, like I made my first website, and that was a very long time ago. Just if you guys want to do the math, it was a while ago. But doing that, I sort of found this passion in creating things. So I thought that I had to be a programmer to create until I went to school. And then all through high school, like I was taking programming classes and stuff like that. And then I found myself spending more time on the front end design. And then I'd have people be helping me with the code. And then I would be helping other people more with their front end stuff. And then one of my instructors was like, well, just so you know, you don't have to code to be a creator. And I was like, oh, well, what can I do? He's like, there's front end design. There's all these other things that you can do. So for me, I really loved that sort of part of creating things like that. So I went to school for multimedia. We did video production, 3D, web design, basically a little bit of everything. So from there, I just really fell in love with photography and video and stuff like that. So here we are many years later. Still doing what I love and what I went to school for, which is something that's very, very rare, I feel like.
That's awesome. My dogs are going crazy right now. I think my daughter came home. That's what they do. I want barkless dogs, but
I love my little dog's bark. I'm surprised he's not doing something downstairs, which he probably is.
we have one tiny little Australian Shepherd. She has one of those barks that like goes to a pitch that bores into your ear and seems like it's going to penetrate your brain.
My sister's dog is like that. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's really. Roberto, thank you.
Roberto!
So let's see.
What was the process like for doing your book and audiobook, which I loved? Oh, thank you. So the audiobook was by far, I've said this many times, I think it might have been the worst experience of my life, mostly because you are reading the words that you have written and then you're finding errors and things that you should have done, because the book process, the writing was actually really great because I worked with another writer who helped me sort of put together my thought process. And then we both went back and forth and changed things and made sense of, basically, when I was writing the book, I was writing in tweets. So the editor that was helping me, she's like, okay, listen, take those tweets that you're writing and put them together. We need like 5 or 6 of those to make a paragraph. I'm like, wow, you're right. But writing the book was really fun, kind of going back like my entire life. But then the audio part was the struggle. We finished it in like 3 or 4 days, which was still fairly quick. But the audio part was definitely the struggle. What was his second question? He said, favorite part of being a designer, I think just being able to create something out of nothing. And we will have to collab soon, Roberto.
I'm hoping to do the Vid Summit as well, Roberto, if I can scrape together the shekels that are necessary. So if I recall, you're from the Pittsburgh area?
I am, yes.
Yes. What part of the Pittsburgh area?
It's like it's probably like it's a little more outside of the city, so it's crazy because we both basically grew up in the middle of nowhere, and it was fun because it was like when I discovered technology and like the internet, it was the craziest thing because I could talk to anybody, I could look up anything, although it was very slow, but it was just, it sort of opened up this whole other world. Like I didn't even know that California really was a place that existed. And the first time that I ever came here, I was like, I'm never going back home. And I didn't actually.
So I grew up in Morgantown, West Virginia, which is
cool.
Yeah. So
my sister, she went to WVU.
Oh, she did. So did I.
That's cool. Actually, my mom did too.
Really? Yeah. Very good. So are your family, is your family Pitt fans or West Virginia fans?
I mean, we're pretty much like Pitt fans, I think, although maybe my mom is. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I don't really know if we get into the college sports very much. We're more like, okay, Steelers, whatever, hockey, Penn.
Yeah, it's one of those things with the now the dog is like wanting to come in the room. What is going on here?
Oh, bring the pup in.
Yeah, I think she's just excited that my daughter's home. So
that's so cute. Maddie's favorite dog, well, his best friend was an Australian Shepherd, like a little mini one, and then he moved away, and it was like the saddest thing ever.
That's too bad. That's too bad. Yeah, our dogs are insane, and we've had so my week at VidCon was absolutely insane because my bathroom in my hotel room had black mold growing in it. And then,
I saw your tweets.
Yeah. And then my basement flooded. And
no, the worst.
Yeah, which is where my studio was. So I mean, most of the equipment was fine, but the whole studio was just gone.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
Yeah, well, we were planning to move anyway, so now we're in the new house, and
that's good.
I'm building a new studio out of a garage. But
oh wow.
But yeah, so we had to put down one of our dogs who had been sick for a while.
That's so sad.
Yeah, he was he was a good guy. Siberian Husky. Only 6 years old, but he started having seizures, and they just got worse. We tried everything for about 6 or 8 months, and he just wasn't doing well. So
well, I know, I'm sure you guys did the right thing though. It's just, it sucks because to see them suffering, it's like you don't know what's wrong and they can't talk to you, and it's just I mean, my dog has been to the vet so many times, and they're like, he's fine, Justine. He just go home. I'm like, I'm sorry, can you just look one more time? Can you take a blood sample? They're like, you're crazy. Get out of here.
I mean, we were gonna try and do whatever we could, but at a certain point with the seizures, it's like, well, you could go take him to get an MRI, and that would cost a ton of money and probably just give us bad news. So it was like, we'll just see what we can do. Anyway, I don't want to bum everybody out, but that's but yeah, that was my VidCon week. So things have been getting better slowly since then.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So what the heck? Be quiet. I don't know.
Oh no.
What do you want?
Oh, doggies. I love animals so much. I think I want to have a zoo.
Yeah, we had what was it? 3 dogs and 2 cats for a while, and now we just have 2 dogs and a cat.
Oh, I'm definitely allergic to cats, so definitely want to have one of those.
I don't know why she's barking. Anyway, now I'll cut this part out of the podcast.
It's all good.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm going to close the door again. Okay.
Guys, don't yell at me for using a straw. I'm sorry. I'm just finishing off my last bag of straws because if I throw them away, I'd be throwing them away anyway. The whole straw dilemma, which is kind of crazy. How much waste the straws have. Like, I really didn't even think about it.
I never did either until, I mean, it's always this way. Like, you don't think about it until like, oh, yeah, that's a little rod of plastic that just will sit in the ground for 1,000 years.
Yeah, it's really crazy. So that's my latest thing. I'm going to be like, all right, we're done. No more straws after this bag. Cause I have them. So if you throw them away anyway, it's
Right.
just going to defeat the purpose. But yes, the straws.
Yeah. So, but no judgment on this. So, it's totally fine. I live in Iowa, so I don't know what that means. I don't know what difference that might make, but
Pablo said, have you tried the metal ones? I have not, but I did just order some last week, so they should be arriving soon on Amazon. So I'm
cool.
very excited about this.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do an unboxing.
Oh,
Hey guys, today I'm gonna unbox some metal straws.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Oh,
I think it'd be fun.
I wouldn't put it past myself.
All right, we got a super chat in from Viper saying, "What's up, Jason, Justine?
Hello.
Amazing, and thanks for repping YouTube in a positive light." Viper does this epic live stream. It starts at like 6:30 Eastern time on Fridays and goes until the longest that you can do as a hangout is 8 hours. So
that's a long time.
Yeah, it kind of rolls through different guests and all that kind of stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, so yeah, good to see you, Viper. Viper's an awesome dude. We got Zach Talks Tech, who is my co-host, but in the woods right now, I guess.
Oh,
somehow the Canadian wilderness has cell signal, I guess.
Well, I just bought a GPS phone because my friends and I went hiking. I guess it was like last week, and we were gone for a very long time, and some things happened. Nothing bad. We weren't lost, but my friend's husband thought that we were lost because we weren't home, and it was like 11:30 at night. So we hiked probably 4 miles back in the complete pitch black darkness, and we didn't have a phone, so we couldn't tell anybody that we were okay. So I was like, this is something that is very important, because he called search and rescue. All these people were freaking out. Like somehow a friend of a friend who was at Comic-Con ended up getting contacted, and then she was worried and then got everybody else worried. And everyone thought that like me and my sister and our other friends were lost in the woods. So I'm excited to try out this GPS phone because it'll definitely make sure that doesn't happen again.
Is it one of those giant ones with the super thick antenna?
It
that
is.
You only see in movies?
It's over there, but it's not that big. It's one of the Garmin Explorer ones.
Oh, okay.
So they like have various plans that you can get if you need like 10 text messages a month, or you can get like unlimited for like $70 a month. I'm like, that's a lot. I don't think I need that, but you can just get like the basic one for like $14.
Yeah. So that's good. I mean, if you're out in the wilderness often, then I could totally see it. Growing up in West Virginia, like I lived in Morgantown, but my dad, after my parents split up, my dad lived in his hometown, which was, maybe 300 people. And he lived in what used to be his hunting cabin. So visits to my dad were basically like going to the hunting cabin, which didn't even for the first few years have a bathroom.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
There was an outhouse. We used the outhouse. It kind of cured me of ever wanting to camp again, though.
Yeah, that's for sure. You're like, I camped a lot during my childhood.
Yeah, I mean, I loved going up there, but it was, it became, I don't know, just kind of, why would I want to do this for fun?
Yeah.
So, all right, dog has stopped barking, so that's good. Let's get back on track and get to some of these questions now. So in the questions that I sent you, I just said i9 MacBook Pro, and we can go in many directions with that. So I just did a Can You Trust on Dave Lee today, and so I'm curious as to your experience with your MacBook Pro. I mean, did you find the same kind of issues that Dave was finding in his tests, or what was your experience?
I mean, for me, because I'm mostly doing Final Cut, it's weird because the i9 was also throttling, but so was my 2016 MacBook, because I was only doing this use case in Final Cut. So because it's basically optimized, I was getting basically the same exact settings and readouts and everything. So I didn't see a difference at all with the patch or without the patch. I did see a little bit of a difference when I was playing Fortnite. But as far as Final Cut, it was pretty much the same. Right. So, I mean, I didn't have Premiere to try. I do have a video, I think, coming out very shortly. Armando and I did a test with Premiere, and we tested out 5 to 6 different cooling pads to see if that would
yeah.
make any difference. And it was kind of funny because we just did some crazy renders out of Premiere and pushing it to the limits. And I mean, I didn't have any problems, but again, I wasn't using Premiere. So
Right. I mean, Premiere's always been a problem on MacBooks anyway. And I go back and forth. Like right now, I'm on a PC, so I've gone back to Premiere, but I might turn it into a Hackintosh, so then I'd go back to Final Cut. There are things I like in both, really. I've used the Adobe suite for so long. I'm like a terrible graphic designer. It's like what I've learned, I learned under duress at different jobs over the years.
yeah.
So I'm terrible at it, but I still. But the workflow of Premiere sort of goes along with that. The only thing I can't really use is Adobe Audition because it doesn't work like other audio recording programs. It's like backwards.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I started editing originally on Premiere, like when I was in school, and we did edit all on PC then. And so from there, I went from Premiere to Avid, which was ridiculous. I took a job and the guy was like, "Do you know how to edit on Avid?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course I do." I get there, I'm like, "Oh boy, what have I gotten myself into?" It was like my second job ever. But thankfully, there was another editor there who taught me pretty much everything I needed to know. And then I was like, "What we're doing, we do not need Avid for this." And then I taught myself Final Cut, and I was like, "This is perfect." And then from there, I quit my job and then started YouTube. Right. But I just think, for the stuff that I'm doing, Final Cut is so perfect, the way that it just integrates multiple cameras and everything like that. And now with like the latest update, all of the color grading, the 360 editing, it's so much better. Whereas a lot of people, whenever they switched over to 10, I mean, they just completely overhauled everything. So they lost a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. And everybody accused it of being iMovie Lite, which, I mean, from that standpoint, it makes sense. If you're giving people free iMovie, then they want to step up. They have a way to get into it without having to learn everything about it. So I guess it makes sense. But so I've been a Logic user since before Apple owned Logic, and it was a huge change, just even from the graphical interface.
Yeah.
Which took some time, but now I mean it's a great program. They've put a lot into it. But Roberto has a question.
Oh.
Roberto wants to know, if Adobe improves render times, would you come back to Adobe Premiere Pro?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I mean, at this point, there's really, I mean, it's not really the render time. I mean, it's just my entire workflow. It's like the amount of time that it takes me to edit a video. I mean, I'm a very fast editor, thankfully. And so it's been really hard for me even trying to find other editors to work with, because I'm like, I just edited 5 videos to your 1 and like now I'm freaking out. It's just like one of those things where it's like I'm so used to my workflow that I don't think that I would go back to Adobe Premiere, because it just doesn't make sense.
Right. And
I do like knowing enough, because I know I do work with people that do use it. So being able to at least take their timeline and piece together things and make changes like that, I'm totally fine with. But I'm Final Cut all the way.
Yeah. Okay. I get it. Once you really get locked in, I think with Roberto, he's an Adobe guy, and that's probably part of the case with him, is that he just got locked into working with that, and it's hard to switch.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I've just been bouncing around back and forth between the two, because I've been going Mac and then PC and then Mac. I like Macs a lot. I've been a Mac customer since like 1993.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's difficult. Why is this dog barking?
Oh, he wants to come and play.
And now my daughter's coming in.
Hello.
So this is my daughter Vaughn. She's back here getting the cat.
Hi.
And she's now going to make the dog shut up, right? So we have another dog. She's like right there, and she
how cute.
She in this new house, she is able to get on the beds where she wasn't allowed before.
Yeah.
And so she's very nervous. So she gets freaked out if you try and get her off the bed.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so cute.
Yeah, except for the fact that she's like a fear peer. So I didn't think we'd have to talk about my dogs this much on this
I
podcast.
am all about it.
Yeah. So let's see. We got one more question from the super chats from Podcastage. Great channel. He's a great guy. If you could offer one piece of advice for a beginning YouTuber, what would you tell them, Justine?
If this is something that you want to do, don't quit. Because I've had so many people who, when things get tough, they're not getting the views that they want, and then they quit. And then I'm like, well, yeah, that's why you're not going to progress, because you're not going to keep going. I mean, even my career has taken some crazy ups and downs. And I think that's just natural in anything, whether it's YouTube or some other passion that you have. I think just, if it is something that you really want to do, just keep doing it.
Right. Yeah. I've always thought that it was because I was insane and couldn't stop doing things, but it really does take that kind of dedication. If you can't not do it, then you just keep doing it, and eventually it just becomes what you do.
It is. And then, I mean, you shift things that are working for you. Like, I mean, I used to do so many vlogs, and there were some of the most fun things that I really like to do. So now I don't do that as much, because for YouTube, it's not the content that they're giving to people in my channel, which is unfortunate, because I really do love doing them. So now I just have shifted to doing bigger vlogs, longer vlogs, making them just way better. And then it's just a lot of content in one. And basically that's something that I'm making for myself and the few people that might see it, because YouTube does not like to give vlogs to my audience. I don't know why. Like, nothing ever makes sense on YouTube. But it's like, I still make the content that I want to make. And sometimes I know the videos aren't going to get the views that I would like, but it's still something that I like making. So I'm still going to do it.
Yeah. I actually watched the, oh my God. I watched the one that you put up either yesterday or today. Or the day before. I don't know. The shark with the sharks.
Oh yeah, that one. I mean, half of that video was shot in October of 2017, and part of it was shot in like March, the last time I went to Hawaii. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna might as well piece this all together. And a lot of people were like, but this is so old. I'm like, well, no, this vlog has no time frame. Like, now is a better time to post it. Whereas a lot of the tech stuff, those have time frames, and there is an expiration date on some of those videos where it's like, okay, that's not even relevant anymore. So I've sort of hold those videos that potentially can post anytime, and post them whenever I don't have any content, or if I'm traveling, or if I'm having like a bad week and I don't want to film. Having those pieces of content is, for me, the way that I've been able to sort of keep my sanity, and just be able to know that I have content in sort of the back of a hard drive somewhere that I can post whenever I need to.
It seems like, just from listening to you talk about the editing of the vlogs and stuff, it seems like those give you some chances to edit in ways that maybe you don't, or that you really enjoy. I don't know if it's different for you, but it seems like you really enjoy putting those together.
I do. It's so much fun. And I think a lot of people don't realize, when you're editing, like, that's when you're telling the story. I mean, granted, when I'm doing a vlog, I like to have sort of a beginning, middle, and an end. Like, okay, or if I'm shooting any type of video, it's like, I say, this is what I'm going to do. And then I do whatever that thing is. And then you wrap it up at the end. But it's like those little pieces of tying things together, and just the little storytelling that you can do is just, it's so much fun. I really, really love it. That's why I will never be able to give up fully anybody that can edit my videos, because I love it so much.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you really know what you like and you found your workflow and everything. I've thought to myself, like, someday I'll give this to somebody else so I can.
Yeah. I think it depends on the content too. Like, a lot of the cooking videos that I used to do so many more of those too. Like, that stuff I could easily give up, because it's not that much of a story. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I saw somebody in the chat earlier say don't give up on the vlog. So
I definitely won't. I just won't post as many. I was posting vlogs like every single day, but then it got to the point where I was filming myself doing the same thing every day. I was like, cool, here I'm doing this. I'm going to eat. I'm hanging out with my sister. Here's my dog. Okay, I'm filming a video. Like you could only do that so much. I think a lot of people get stuck in sort of that cycle. And I see it happen with daily vloggers. They burn out, they get depressed, they hate YouTube, they lose their mind. So it's like trying to find that sanity within creating content, making your life, your work it's not easy.
No. And I mean, who would have thought that doing something every day for, months and years on end would make you insane? I mean, just
yeah, really, it's
I've tried to do some vlogs, but the stuff that I would do would be like, I have this thought right now and I'm going to tell you about it.
Yeah.
And those seem to go nowhere because no one will
yeah.
Maybe someday people will care what I have to say.
No, it's crazy because then it's, especially with vlogs too, it's like it's not necessarily just your life, it's other people's lives too, your friends, your family, and random people in the street. So I feel like most of the time, even when I was filming, I was more self-conscious about other people around me. Do they want to be in this video? Do they not want to be in this video? I'm like, man, I don't know. It's just it's a lot.
Right. So, okay. I saw my friend John Prosser is here in the chat, even though he doesn't want people to know. And we've been having somewhat of a boisterous conversation about the upcoming iPhones. Now we've got the 6.1 inch iPhone that's coming out. That's going to be LCD screen and some colors, it seems. And then we've got whatever's replacing the 5.8 inch and then the 6.5 inch gigantic iPhone. John feels like the LCD iPhone with colors is going to go crazy and sell bajillions. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it will actually as well, mostly because I think a lot of, I guess I don't even know what to call it. It's just like most consumers who are not as concerned with the specs or this or that, I think they want choices. And another thing too is I think a lot of people don't even realize you're going to put a case on it anyway, because I do every single time. So I think the colors is a great option, and I think a lot of people will buy them, but it depends on what the colors are.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, early on when they were showing orange is like the least popular color in the world. I guess somebody
is it really
did some research and
huh.
Nobody wanted orange anything. But
well, it's crazy because when Marquez and we unboxed the original, was like one of the first iBooks, the iBook G3, and we were talking about how there were so many different colors, and these were computers. They were way more expensive than a phone, and I mean, at the time, that was revolutionary for Apple when they brought out the colored iMacs and the colored iBooks. I mean, that was really the shift for them when it brought them back into the spotlight. So I don't know. I mean, maybe this is. Granted, they're already very much in the spotlight, but I think it could be another shift of something that they maybe potentially need. It's something that we needed and we didn't even know it. That's
what they try and do.
It's true.
They try and figure out what we want before we want it. I'm kind of one of those people where I kind of feel like with the iPhone or something like that, it's kind of an iconic piece of tech. And it has the look of an iPhone. And I don't know how many people are just going to be like, well, yeah, it's a little bit cheaper, but I want the quote unquote real iPhone.
Yeah.
That's my question. I was actually on Viper's stream the other night with Flossie Carter, and he called the colored iPhones the peasant iPhones.
That word just cracks me up every time. I mean, but I feel like I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm probably going to get the largest iPhone because I'm crazy and that's just what I always do. But I just feel like the iPhone 10 size right now, like this is a perfect size. Like I'm so happy with this, because even just the iPhone 7 Plus, it did feel a little bit big. And then once you got this, like this is perfect.
Right. Yeah. I really like the iPhone 10 size, but I found that the Plus just feels better for me. Like right now I've got the iPhone 7 Plus, but when the big one comes out, I will be getting the big one.
For sure. I mean, if they have an iPhone 10 Plus, then yeah, I would definitely get it.
Yeah. So I we'll have to see. Apple's always gonna float some things out there. I think they're doing this on purpose. Like they float things out there because they want to get people excited. They need more. Now someone is like driving by with a motorcycle. When I get
I
my
mean, I
studio,
definitely, yeah, right. I mean, I think that they definitely do put things out there, and I mean, I think sometimes they do just to sort of get the feedback of like, do we release this or do we not? So it's kind of like testing the waters.
right? Yeah, and it gets them the news cycles every time Apple says anything. Like with the recent this story I just saw that I sent to you. Now that I guess the iPad is going to have no headphone jack and be mostly vertical. Of
Yeah.
course,
See, my thing with that is I know a lot of kids use them. So I just don't, I mean, I guess kids can use wireless headphones as well, but I just feel like it's easier for that to just work for like kids, where it's like, okay, plug this in and it works. Because sometimes there's pairing issues and things like that. So I'm not sure. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. I feel like I'm surprised they haven't done it already, really.
yeah, yeah. I always thought it was interesting that they had to take away the headphone jack on the iPhone, but they kept it on everything else.
Yeah.
Um, and and I do agree that you're right. A lot of kids do use, a lot of parents babysit their kids with the iPhone, uh,
Mhm.
or the iPod or the iPad. What am I talking about?
One of them. I've
Yes.
been babysat with all of them. Although I wasn't a baby, I was still an adult. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It is interesting just to see that progression of the removal of the headphone jack, which I was a little bit skeptical at first, and now I can't even imagine having one anymore.
I'm old, and audio is still a big deal to me. So I don't like
Yeah.
having that choice taken away from me, and I don't like to have some sort of intermediary piece of gear that may or may not be of a decent quality.
Mhm.
Um, so I'd like to have the choice to have the headphone jack.
Yeah,
Um,
especially for the iPad. I mean, and even on like on the MacBook too. Like I have to have it. Like there's because the wireless, like there's such a delay that trying to edit and get precise edits. I mean, I have it down to a science now with the AirPods of if I'm editing to music, I'll know that I just move it over slightly, like
right,
a couple of clicks, and then I just edit with like waveforms because I know that these do not match up to the audio. So
right.
that is a huge issue. So until that is fixed, it's you just can't take that off of the MacBooks or any of the computers.
Yeah. Yeah. I found that the AirPods compared to a lot of other Bluetooth headphones actually are better at
Hmm.
staying in sync. Like if you're watching a YouTube video casually or something, you don't really notice
You don't. I mean,
but
I'm using them right now.
yes, I see. Uh,
Wonderful. So, but
yes.
like for this kind of stuff, like it works perfect. But if you're trying to get precise edits, like you cannot.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm interested in where they go with this iPad. Um, but yeah, I, I guess people get tired of me being mad about the headphone jack. So I'm just gonna be like, I don't like it, but
I know.
but that's what they're gonna do. So deal with it. I have to say though, I lost my original pair of AirPods, or at least I lost a AirPod, and I didn't have them for a while. So I went and got myself another pair, and they they just work so well.
They do.
Um, it's
And did you find the other one?
not yet. I'm hoping
Okay.
that as we unpack all the stuff that we just brought into this house, that it will pop out of some random box.
Yeah.
But so far, nothing. I it's I'm trying to be much more diligent about putting them back in the case every time I take them out of my ears. Um,
Me too. I'm like obsessed because I've lost them so many times. And then I thought they were gone, but then I've always found them. So I have two sets now because they've all sort of found their way back home.
right.
But oh, they really are great.
Yeah. Even if I listen to a quote unquote good pair of headphones and I'm listening to music and then I go back to the AirPods, I'm like, oh, they don't sound as good as those other ones. But for
No, definitely
everyday
not.
stuff, for every day, I found that I just kind of keep them in my ears. if I'm like, so I still work at I work at the University of Iowa,
Mhm.
and I just sit at my desk with the AirPods in my ears like all the time.
They're also a great deterrent from people talking to you. So I'll just keep them in. Well, now I'm giving away my secret of like when I'm walking around, I'll have my AirPods in. I'm like, I'm actually not listening to anything, but people think you are because then you're just more aware of your surroundings.
Right.
They're like, oh,
Right.
she doesn't know anything. I'm like, no, I see you.
So this sort of brings me to that just makes me think of a question. Do you get recognized often?
I do, especially at the Apple Store. So that's where all my friends hang out. But I think what's great about I think, the YouTube generation too, where it's like I feel like I have a very specific audience, but it's also kind of a broad audience. So you can live a totally normal life, but yet, you go to specific places like Best Buy or sometimes like at the mall or Disney or these places. I mean, you definitely get recognized and it is really cool because it shows you that what you're doing is making an impact and you get to really see that impact that you make on someone's face and just the joy that you bring them. And I'm like, okay, like I feel like I need that because you need to see that what you're doing is something that is making a difference in people's lives. And you even like at VidCon, like VidCon is such a very weird experience, but it's
That's
if
a
it's
word
not
for it.
VidCon, it's got to be something else where you kind of have that feedback from people and you get to really actually see the people that watch your videos because it is really, really meaningful.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been noticed. I've been recognized a couple of times at Best Buy.
Yeah, Best Buy. Oh, yeah, I love it. Or
Um,
somebody, they won't ever tell you, and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, I just sold a camera to iJustine or whatever." I was like, "But I put them on Twitter, and like I see that you said that. Why didn't you say anything then? Like you could have said hi."
yeah.
It's so great.
I've had a couple of people actually come up to me, and then I get a lot of people that just kind of look at me like, I know you from somewhere. Like, did I go to high school with you? Like
Yeah,
that kind
yeah.
of look. But yeah, it's
Sometimes they'll think that I'm Jenna Marbles, and then they get really embarrassed because they don't mean to say it, but then they do, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I knew you were Justine."
well, that's I
It's so
guess
good.
yeah, it's fun to have that experience.
Hmm.
And you're right, having somebody appreciate your work enough to like come up and tell you is is really valuable. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is really cool.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about this. So you game. I'm aware of this.
Hmm.
So what are you playing right now?
Oh my gosh, I just downloaded a few weeks ago. I still haven't got a chance to play it yet. The Lego Incredibles game.
Mm,
I love the Lego games, but that was on Nintendo Switch and then Fortnite. And then I'm waiting patiently for the new Call of Duty. But it's hard because I still like, I mean, I've said this so many times, like just editing takes so much time that
right.
it's like, do I post less videos? Do I play more games? And then like this past year, me and my sister have tried to focus a lot on fitness. So since that has happened, it's like, okay, I need to go outside. I need to do this. So I've been trying to do like real world activities. So it's like a lot of that time has just been eaten up very
Right.
slowly. So my gaming now, I game so much more on the Nintendo Switch than ever because I'm able to take it with me.
Hmm.
And then when I am home, I play Fortnite on Xbox. I used to travel with like my Surface Book Pro and I would play Fortnite on that with a controller. And now with the new iMac, supposedly, you can play Fortnite on that too. But it ran a lot better on the Surface, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't done the Fortnite. I've done
It's
PUBG.
fun. I didn't play PUBG that much, so I feel like if you're playing PUBG, like you're the hardcore PUBG players, and you're not going to go to the Fortnite. But I think the whole Fortnite phenomenon has been incredible for gaming, for esports, for everything. There's this girl I met her at the Fortnite event, Kitty Plays, and it's fascinating because her audience is mostly female and she posts daily gameplay videos. And I was like, this is amazing. Like that's what I absolutely love to see. So it's
Right.
it's just cool to see what Fortnite has done for gaming in general.
Yeah. That's really cool. And that kind of dovetails into my next question, which is something that I did talk about a little bit when I was doing the Can You Trust that featured you. How do you feel about your role as a sort of female in a, I guess, male dominated field? Like what's that experience like for you, and what could you say to other young women who are maybe trying to do the same kinds of things?
Yeah, it's weird because growing up, I didn't realize that it was like I was just playing games, doing stuff that I liked, and most of my friends were guys, but there were also girls that were doing it as well. Like my sister has always been very into video games, and we've always liked the same thing. So it was never something that I realized was, just was different. Like I was just like, I'm doing what I like to do. Like I didn't really think, oh, I'm a girl or whatever. But I think now it is a huge thing, and I think just making it feel acceptable for girls to play games, to code, to do basically whatever it is that you want to do. And, don't let anything define you, whether you're a guy, if there's something else that you want to do that may be mostly female dominated. I just feel like that whole gender bias is, it kind of sucks,
Right.
and especially on the internet, everyone has a voice, everyone is vocal. And I just think if there's something that you're passionate about, let that shine through and don't let anyone else tell you that you should be doing anything differently. Unless you're doing something bad and terrible, then sometimes taking that feedback is maybe a very good idea. So I don't know. I just think whatever it is that you like to do it, and don't let people tell you that what you're doing is wrong. Because if I would have done that, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing.
Right.
Because people made fun of me for making videos. And I will never forget those people that made fun of me for making YouTube videos, and now they're doing it. So I didn't forget, guys. I didn't forget.
No one ever forgets that kind of thing.
They don't.
I had an English teacher in high school who told me that I would never amount to anything. And I still, every once in a while, I search for her on the internet to see if I could tell her some of the things that I've done.
It's great, but sometimes I almost feel like these teachers or something like tell you that so that does motivate you, which is kind of crazy because I had, this guy also wasn't telling me that. When my old boss, he said the same thing. He's like, if you quit this job, like you're never going to amount to anything. You're never going to be successful. Like you're never going to get a better job. So it's like using those things to your advantage. Be like, all right, well, I'm going to prove you wrong. So go find your English teacher and send her a nice long note.
Yeah, she really didn't like me. I had her sophomore year too, and it was first period, and I think I missed class like 49 times or something. So I tested into AP English, and she was the teacher of junior AP English. And at the semester break, she pulled me aside and she said, Jason, I just really don't think you have what it takes to stay in this class.
Wow.
Yeah, and at that point, it was high school, and I was more than halfway through, and I was like, I don't care anymore. Whatever. I went back to the accelerated class and just read twice as much as everybody else, and
yeah.
And I ended up going to a really good graduate writing school, like the graduate writing school, really. So
that's incredible.
That's one of the things that I would like to let her know about, but.
Yeah. See, look, it's like taking those things and just those negative experiences and then just using them to your advantage, I think is probably the best piece of advice, really. Because, doing stuff like this online, you're opening yourself up to criticism, and it happens all the time. I'm constantly paranoid and always worried that, like, what's somebody going to think? And then I'm like, well, I don't have to wonder, because as soon as I post this, I will find out immediately. But it sucks because it's like, no matter how long you do this, you still read these things, and there's a huge difference between, constructive criticism and then just people being idiots. And sometimes it's like, okay, you know what, this constructive criticism actually hurt more because I thought what I was doing was a good job. And then someone's like, oh, your color grading was off on this one. I'm like, shoot, I know, but I didn't have enough time to fix it. But it's crazy because it is what it is.
Yeah. Online, it's just everybody can hide behind their keyboard and say anything, and I think it turns so many people into like insane sociopaths, where they just
but even just sometimes I'll even think about like watching a YouTube video, and then I'll just think of like something like the first thing that pops into my head, which may be potentially negative, and you can say anything, but yet you don't ever take into account like the people that are behind that video. And I think a lot of people, sometimes they're commenting, they might be having a terrible day and they don't really actually realize what they're saying. And I love when people be like, she's so stupid or something, like use it in like that type of a way. And I'm like, well, she is reading this right now. So she thinks that That was not very nice.
Well, that's an interesting point, because I think that a lot of people, like, YouTube is a very sort of one-to-one kind of experience. There's much more the feel that, like, you're hanging out with the person who's made the video, and I
Mhm.
think that's what makes it really attractive. But it's really easy to not realize that that person who's made the video is actually a person,
Mhm.
and so that person is going to react in one way uh, or another based on what you say, and you get a thicker skin and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes it can just hit you sideways.
It's true. And then sometimes when they're like, man, she's so annoying, I'm like, actually, you're right. I'm watching this video and you're 100% right. I'm so sorry for being annoying. I mean, like, like, what do you think I think? I just had to edit this video of myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, but it is cool because, the other thing is some people will just see one-off videos where it's not something that is, I feel like, representative of like my entire channel. So if somebody would come across something, this may be what they would assume that your entire channel or you are about. So it's, I don't know. I mean, you kind of just have to like take it for what it is. Cause it's like, if somebody is saying that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's their opinion and I guess they're entitled to it, but just remember there are actual people watching and reading.
Yeah. Yeah. So Alden Moore here has a question for you.
Okay.
Have you gotten a chance to meet Tim or Steve? If so, could you share your experience?
I have not, unfortunately, but I definitely would love to meet him one day. I didn't get to meet Steve, but I'm sure he was well aware of me because I feel like I'm definitely aware of the people that make crazy videos about me. So I'm sure he was as well. But Steve, it's just such an interesting story because I was obsessed with him when I was younger, not just him as a person, but just him and the culture and what he created. And that tagline of think different, for me when I was younger, it's something that like I needed because
Right.
the things that I was into, playing video games and spending time on my computer and coding and doing that stuff, like that was not really very cool. I mean, I went to LAN parties. Like that was, instead of going to my prom, like we went to a LAN party and we called it Lanti prom. So, those things
Mm-hmm.
definitely weren't cool back in the day. And, now it is.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to see sort of that shift in culture and what was acceptable. And it's very, very exciting because those things that weren't cool now, it is accepted and it is cool. And I just love that, Carly Kloss, who I'm such a huge fan of, she does coding with Klossy and has these coding classes for girls like all around the world.
Right.
And well, not the world, I think it's just the US right now. But just making it more accessible and easier for girls and women to get into this is so incredible. And I don't know, I'm just excited to see where it is in another 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I remember seeing that didn't you get your senior picture taken with an iMac
I did.
G5?
It was the iMac. It was the G4, I believe, it was the
Okay.
graphite one. And it was the G4 because it was like whenever it was one of the first like dual processor G4s, and I was so excited. I saved all my money. It was like my 16th birthday, so people were like giving you money for like to save for a car, and I put it all towards like computer. I never even got my driver's license until I was like 18 or something.
Right.
And I was like, this is what I want. But made my mom carry that freaking thing into the photo studio, and that monitor was so heavy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll never forget. She never forgot either. But that's what I did.
Yeah, I still have a Snow White iMac, like I think it's from 2007.
Yeah.
And that moving that thing was like, wow, this thing is really heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Just amazing how heavy it is.
So cool. Oh, somebody in your chat said online multiplayer killed the LAN party. That is true, but there was no online play because we were still on modems and you really could not play online. But oh man, it was so fun. They had cyber cafes. Like there was this one place. This was the craziest thing. So in Pennsylvania, it was actually a church that was turned into a cyber cafe in the bottom. And then the top of it was a gun store. So like that, if that's not the definition of Pennsylvania, then I'm not really sure what is.
Yeah.
It's like have your coffee, play video games in the bottom of the church, and then buy yourself a handgun in the top. I was like, this is crazy. Just even thinking back of that being something that that was
Yeah.
available.
Yeah. You could also probably purchase all your Blaze Orange needs for the
Yes.
season.
That was next door.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, I remember we had a group of people when I was in college. We had a BBS. So like a
Oh
bullet.
yeah.
And so we played like really weird, almost like text-based BBS games.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the coolest thing in the world. Everybody was like, "Oh my god, it's so amazing! You know, we can play this game, and you're over at that
Yeah.
house."
Oh, that's so cool. I remember like I think I tweeted it the other day about IRC. And everyone's like, "Oh yeah, well Discord, like that's like the new IRC or Twitch chat." I'm like, "Well, I don't really do that anymore, but like IRC was, I mean, that's how we all chatted. Like that was what we all talked in, and we all had channels, and oh man, it was so much fun."
Yeah. When I left Morgantown and moved to New York, my roommates gave me the parting gift of a 14.4 baud modem, so I could continue to log into the BBS. So
How funny.
yeah, it was a long distance call though, so I sort of slowly,
Yeah.
yeah, back when long distance calls actually cost more money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's see. Okay, another question here. And then I think we'll go to, you know, there've been a lot of questions kind of going on in the chat as well. So we'll hit some of those. But I've been watching you for a long time. You're always so incredibly positive. So I'm wondering, like, what actually, if anything, makes you angry?
Makes me angry. Up at Call of Duty. Oh my gosh. I did make all my gaming videos private because I know there was some that I was like swearing in, and I don't like swearing in my videos, but that's why I had to stop. Like I could never do live streams for like playing video games. Like I can't do it because I lose my mind when I'm playing. Like and everyone's like, "You're over exaggerating." I'm like, "No, I am not. This is me. I'm freaking out." Things that make me mad, other things other than Call of Duty or, well, actually Fortnite now, getting kills. The other thing that drives you crazy about Fortnite is you spend so much time gathering items and then you end up just wasting all this time and getting killed, and then it's just the game's over. So that does make me mad. But as far as like tech stuff goes, I mean, I think when things are advertised as something that is supposed to work and then it doesn't, but also when I'm filming a video and then I realize that I wasn't recording any audio, or things go wrong, or everything was out of focus, or one camera, the battery was dead, I didn't know it. So those types of things drive me crazy. So the behind the scenes that people don't see.
Yeah, you should just, you know, one day for like just gather a bunch of footage and just release it for like 24 hours.
I've got so many outtakes in my videos of just like I'm realizing something's not going right. Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah. But okay, I suppose those are all good. I was hoping it would be something like, you know, I don't know what I was hoping for.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, well, usually I try not to do, if there's something that really, well, okay, all right, I've got something that makes me mad, the GoPro karma. I don't usually like to post videos where I'm being negative, but if I do post it, then you better know that it's gonna be trash. And that thing was the absolute worst. And when I posted the video, it basically just like took off, hit the side of my house. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll try it again. Did the same exact thing. And then I posted the video, and this was before there were like the known issues. So I was nervous to post it because I didn't want to be like, oh, Justine maybe didn't know how to use it. Maybe she was doing it wrong, which most people said. And then finally, like a couple weeks later, they all got recalled. So I was like, okay, I wasn't crazy. And it was worth posting.
So do you ever think about, I've thought about this in the case of like folks like yourself and Marquez and people who have, you know, really big followings, in terms of posting stuff that might be negative against the product, and the impact that could possibly have.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think if it's fair, if it is something that is wrong with it, then there's no reason not to. I mean, there's definitely been things that I've said, like even Marquez was saying, we were talking about like, I may be Apple biased. Yes, I might be. But then he's like, yeah, but if she says something is wrong with it, then you better believe that something wrong is amplified because I'm such a huge fan. Right. So I think it does go both ways. And I mean, if there is something wrong with something and I'm trying it, I'll either figure out, is this a me problem or is this a product problem? And then, go from there.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, I tend to be painfully honest tech. I tend to go toward
painfully honest.
go toward the painfully honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I've never had a company call me or anything. I would imagine that wouldn't there be like a phone call from somebody? They're like, hey, you've heard us or not.
Yeah, no, I think they usually reach out because even all of the stuff that was happening with like the i9 throttling, Apple was actively seeking out that specific footage and trying to figure out like, what is this we want to replicate. And then also with Adobe, I've seen people tweet about them reaching out about the throttling and saying that they're working on it or trying to get specific footage from people and just trying to recreate those issues. So I think with social media, it is a huge responsibility, whether you have a lot of followers or you don't, they're listening because they are out there. So I think it's very powerful that, just normal everyday consumers who have the internet are able to make a difference and get feedback.
Right. Right. Yeah. I think now it's time for the lightning round.
Oh boy.
But before I forget, I made some notes for myself here.
Okay.
Before I forget, I have a YouTube suggestion for you.
Okay.
Have you ever seen Pittsburgh Dad?
Yes, I love him. He's great.
Yeah, I watch just, especially during the football season, I watch as many of his videos as I can. Yeah, because he has it down for sure.
He does. Oh my gosh, no, his videos during like football season is incredible.
Yeah, he's branching out now. Like I didn't watch the video, but I saw a video where Dad gets lost trying to find Arby's, or like.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Yeah, we haven't done a video together yet, but I think I need to work on that.
Yeah, you definitely should. You definitely should, because he's a lot of fun. I guess.
So funny.
He's got a picture with Ben Roethlisberger.
He does.
So, oh man, I don't know. All right, lightning round. So this is just 5 questions, fast answers.
Okay. Oh gosh. Oh.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Okay. Favorite movie?
Everybody always laughs at my favorite movie. It's Requiem for a Dream.
Okay. That's a little hard.
Oh gosh, I love it. It's so great.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, kids don't watch it.
Or watch it when you're older.
Yeah.
It's a tough movie. The book is, I think I own the book, but I haven't read it. And that's probably equally as intense.
Yeah, well, I watched it I was in college. So that movie and then Pi. And because I was like studying film and stuff like that. So I was like so just fascinated with like the editing and how it was colored and it was shot. So that was a huge inspiration for a lot of like my jump cut editing, like in the beginning, because it's like they did so much of that. And Darren I'm such a huge fan of his. I finally just met him at E3 and I didn't know what to say. I was just like, it was a fangirl moment. And I had one. I was like, it's like, Darren, hi, I'm a big fan. I really like Pi and Requiem for a Dream. And they're my favorite movies. I felt like I was like a child. I was like, you're the best. But it was just, anyway, I forgot this is a lightning round. Sorry, guys.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay. It's important that you answer the question quickly.
Okay.
Then we can talk. But okay. Next question. Hamburger or sushi?
Hamburger. Cheeseburger, probably. I'd like cheese on it.
Okay. Fair enough. That's always one that I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I trust a sushi person.
Oh, I love cheeseburgers. It's my favorite.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite activity other than YouTube?
Hiking.
Okay. Fair enough. Favorite Beatle?
I don't know.
Oh.
Are we talking about the band or like?
See, this is
the bugs.
Michael Fisher said the same thing.
Because I was like, well, I go hiking and there's this really specific beetle that I love. It's like this little black creature. I don't really know what it is, but he's so cool. He kind of reminds me of like he doesn't look real. He looks like a little robot.
Okay. So yeah.
It's a robot beetle.
So it's funny because we asked the same question to the Michael Fisher last week, and he first was answering with an insect. And
Yeah.
like, no, the group. So
I don't even know. I mean, I never really listened to the Beatles like that. That's bad, huh?
I don't know what to say about that. The Beatles are like, so when I was a kid, I would come home from school and watch these Saturday morning. Well, after school, they would have these cartoons that used to be Saturday morning cartoons in the 60s where it was the Beatles.
Yeah.
I was a big music kid even when I was really young, and my mind exploded when I heard that band. Like, my favorite band at the time was Kiss.
Yeah.
I was like 8 years old, I guess. So that dates me. I know. But yeah, so the Beatles have been huge. They either get the credit or the blame for so many things that I've done in my life.
That's true. I feel like that's probably a lot of people. I mean,
Yeah.
I was also thinking of the song. It's like I don't know who sing it. It's like Black Beatles in the city. I'm sure the chat will be able to tell us what it is.
Yeah. It's not ringing a bell for me. So.
Oh god, it's a good one. It was like it's so last year though.
Okay. Well, so now we've made it through all my questions and stayed relatively on time, which is pretty amazing. So would you mind taking some questions from the chat?
Sure.
So I know Viper asked a question. I'm going to go backwards and trying to find it because I don't know how to find the super chats after they've been super chatted because I'm stupid.
Oh no. Yeah, I don't see that. Well, let's see.
Viper, put your question in again. Or El Jefe. Oh, here we go. Yeah, if Viper says if you ever have a free Friday night, you're always welcome on his epic live stream.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. And he also wanted to know what are some of your favorite moments from being on YouTube?
Oh, geez. Probably one of my favorite moments was being in, I think it was the Black Ops 2 commercial, because it was one of those things where it's like, this is my favorite game, and now I'm in the commercial for my favorite game. And it was also, it was just kind of surreal.
Yeah.
Just be like, this is my favorite game. I'm now in the commercial for my favorite game. And when it was out, I mean, everyone saw it because it was like on TV, it was on pre-rolls. So it's like all of my friends were like, did I just see you in a Call of Duty commercial? Like people that I haven't talked to for years. I think it's just those random occurrences of just even being in some of my favorite shows. Like I was obsessed with Vampire Diaries. So I was like, hey, can I be in Vampire Diaries? And then they put me in an episode. And then like Law and Order. So just like these random things that I was huge fans of. And being able to just be a part of it, just for even like a single episode or a day, I think those are some of my favorite things.
That's very cool. Law and Order would be pretty sweet, I have to admit.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, this is great. I'm a dead body. It still airs, and that was from like 2009.
Oh yeah.
So every time it re-airs, which is I definitely know because people on Twitter let me know.
Yeah, I'll have to be on the lookout for that one.
Yeah,
we don't have cable anymore, so I don't do the binge watching of the Law and Order like I used to.
It's on Netflix. I don't think they have like the newest episodes. They just have like I think all the old ones.
Yeah, well, those are the good ones, like with Jerry Arbach. That guy was great.
Yeah.
So right now, everybody's telling you that you should check out Viper. He's the captain of Team Apple. But
I will.
So Liam had a question that I know I saw before, so I'm going to find it again. He wanted to know if you're going to do more Switch videos.
Yeah, I probably should. I know I promised everybody that I was going to do some Fortnite Switch, but I never did. So I probably should do that. Actually, I have my Switch sitting right here. It's my favorite. The skins on these things are so great. It's the colorware one. It's like the
Oh, nice.
NES themed. Oh, it's
I
so
see
great.
that. Yeah.
So yeah,
Very
I'll
cool.
probably do some Switch videos. I've got some Switch accessories coming, so
Oh,
soon.
I I uh I haven't played the Switch yet.
It's
See,
so great.
I
Just
kind of
being able to take
missed
it with me.
Nintendo though. Like, because I was Atari 2600 was like my console when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and then I was older when Nintendo stuff started to get really popular, and
Hmm.
I was broke and I didn't have the money to buy anything. So I never I played Mario. I played uh what's the one with Link?
Zelda.
Yes, Legend of Zelda.
Hmm.
Well, I guess the dogs were in here and they became interested in something else. Um, I played through those games, but never like fully got
Yeah.
into Nintendo. So I feel like I need to get a Switch because everybody just raves about it, but I haven't done it yet.
It is. I mean, it's just so nice to be able to take it with me because it's like the only way that I mean, I beat Zelda on a plane, I beat Mario on a plane, and I was so excited about it. No, but I was like sitting next to people and I'm like using the motion controls and I'm like freaking out and I'm like, sorry, I just beat Zelda. It's a big deal.
Yeah, I think you're having some sort of seizure.
I'm like, no, I just play my game.
So let's see. More questions. More questions. I saw that somebody told me I should put my dog down, but one of the mods
Ugh, that's
told
not
what
funny.
one of the
They need
mods.
to be blocked.
Yeah, one of the mods took him away. So
Yeah,
that's good.
you're gone. Somebody asked
Yeah.
about the Segway shoes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Those, if somebody asked me, well, I'm going to tell you right now, if somebody was like, hey, what's your favorite piece of tech right now? That is it. They are so cool because so I love the boosted board and I did just get one, but then I hurt my foot. So I can't, I actually probably shouldn't be reviewing that right now. But the Segway shoes, which are actually cool. And I did not hurt my foot because of the Segway shoes. Just we can
Okay.
clear that all up. But it's nice because now I can just stand on them and sort of just cruise. They're not very good with elevation though, or like bumps and stuff like that. But I think getting around, if I had to choose that or the boosted board, granted the boosted board does go way faster, but this is just something you can just like pick up, take, and I mean, they're small, they're heavy, but it's so great. Like I can't wait for them to come out.
Uh, so how much are they like just sort of motorized roller skates?
Well, you don't put your feet in them.
Okay.
So it's like you're just basically standing on top of them because I
Okay.
had the rocket skates before and those were so dangerous. Like no, those should never have been sold because they just keep going. And what's great about the Segway shoes is they're not even called Segway shoes, but that's what I've been calling them. You can just hop off.
Right.
So even if one of them kind of takes a little bit of a tumble, your other foot will still be stationary and you can just kind of hop off. So it's a little bit different. But man, they're so cool.
So they're not. Are they made by Segway though?
They are. They're actual
okay.
Segway, yeah. So it's like using the Segway technology.
Interesting. Interesting. Did you know the guy who made Segway fell off a cliff and died?
Yeah. He rode off the cliff on his Segway, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's just something.
There is, I wonder if I don't want to think that he did it on purpose. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I just remember
I don't
hearing
know
the
the
story.
details.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just know that but he bought the company, so he wasn't the original.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so
It wasn't like the original guy who's just like,
no.
I got this down and
Hmm.
just went over the edge. Somebody wants to know what Casey Neistat is like in person.
He's exactly like he is in his videos. I mean, like what you see is what you get. Like Casey is Casey.
Yeah, that's kind of what I assumed. Just
Yeah.
he reminds me of somebody that I am really good friends with,
Hmm.
who also lives in New York, and just they're very similar people.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I'm a lot like I am in my videos, but maybe just a little more calm, I think.
okay, That's I don't know if I believe you.
Well, I think what I am here, this is me. This
Okay.
is me. But especially when you're editing too, so it's like you obviously put. I mean, it's not like I'm putting on something, but I'm just like I am excited. But it's like you obviously edit out all the boring stuff. So I don't know, like from just like chilling, chatting.
Yeah. So, all right, Zach, what super chat am I not seeing? Tell me what super chat I'm not seeing, because I'm
Let's
missing
read
them
my
all.
super chat.
Although I do see from Everin, thanks for the live show. Been watching you since 2010. And
Cool.
where is where is my question is where is iJustine?
She's traveling. She's been traveling for a few years. Yeah, she's taking some time off.
I'm not familiar with iJustine, so you're gonna have to explain.
You know what? I don't know if I should tell you to watch it now so you can just really get a full live reaction, or just go watch it later.
Okay.
My
Okay.
old roommate.
Okay. I'll make sure to. I wish I would have known to watch it before this interview, because
It's okay. It's all right. You'll see. This will just be a nice little surprise for you.
Yeah. Um, Roberto asked, "What did you think about Casey's interview with Logan Paul?" Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. I think we get it. If you want to add more, you can. But hey.
I mean, I just think that we were just recovering from it, and now it's just, it's like a scab that you have, and you're like, oh, I know I shouldn't itch it, but then you do, and then you've just completely reopened the wound. That's basically, I feel like, what Casey did.
Yeah. I I can empathize with the whole idea of like, I made this huge mistake. I want to get past it.
Yeah, but that's not Casey's. He should not have been doing that. Like, that's a Logan thing,
Right.
like that's not something. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people trust and respect Casey, and they respect his opinion. I just feel like it wasn't an interview that had to happen.
Right.
I mean, I think watching it as an interview, like, yeah, he did a great job. I just don't think that Logan deserved it per se.
Okay.
And I mean, I think I'm just hoping for Logan's sake that, he does change, because I've known him personally, and, it's just, I do think a lot of people do let this whole YouTube thing, get to you. And I think it's also something that's interesting is when you're not editing your own videos, you do lose context and sight of stuff that you're creating. So, what I have said many times when all of this happened is I wish that, if Logan was sitting there actually editing that video himself and rewatching and telling that story, him personally editing that he wouldn't have posted it, because there's no way that anybody could sit there and be like, this is a good idea, you should post this. I don't know. It's just sad, because I had to deal with a lot of that the backlash of that at CES, because people were like, oh, you're a YouTuber, are you going to post dead body videos? I'm like, no, I don't. So it's like, we've all worked so hard to earn respect in the industry, and then to have it all taken away from you is very upsetting. So I don't know. It's a very sore subject.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying not to even talk about it, but we're talking about it.
Yeah, that's okay. We ask the hard questions here.
That's true.
Actually, the chat asks the hard questions, but
it is.
I felt the same way. Of course, from a distance, I was like, I understand it's not an excuse, but he's like 22, 23 years old, and especially when you have this major success going on, and you've got a lot of people around you who are sort of reinforcing your thoughts about yourself.
Yeah, that's the problem, is you do need to have people that you trust around you. Like, and the problem is, if I have an idea, I run it by my sister, and she's like, that's not a good idea. So I feel like, when you don't have people around you that are honest and really kind of, I don't know. I mean, I guess it just really depends what your ultimate goal is,
Right. Right. Yeah, and I have to admit I don't think I've ever watched a Logan Paul video, so I don't have the firsthand knowledge to really say one way or the other. But I thought he didn't come off well in that interview, and
It makes me sad.
I was kind of rooting for him for some reason. You know, I was kind of like, okay, but it is what it is, or it was what
Yeah.
it was. Luke,
Anyway.
Luke, yeah, lighter topic. Justine, are you a Metallica fan?
Oh my gosh, yes. So I saw they were playing in Germany whenever me and my sister were going to be in Germany. We were missing them by like a week. I was so upset. But my favorite band is Tool, actually.
Okay.
And when I got an invite to the first WWDC a few years ago, I was like, I can't believe I got my first invite to WWDC and there's a Tool concert that same day. I can't go to WWDC. There's only one thing that I would have to turn down Apple for, and it was for a Tool show. So
I remember listening to Tool quite a bit in college. Some of my roommates were really into him. Is it true that we're still waiting for another Tool album? It's been like however many years.
Yes. And I believe it should be out this year, which is crazy. I think 2006 was their last album, 10,000 Days. So that's kind of crazy. I think, let me double check. I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was 2006. Oh my gosh, it was 2006. That's crazy. Yeah. That's when I started my YouTube channel.
That's when, I remember what just my roommates were, especially my roommate who was a huge Metallica fan, like basically only wore Metallica t-shirts. He was also big into Tool, so they were.
Somebody said Slipknot.
Slipknot from Iowa.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I used to have a Slipknot t-shirt. My mom took it away from me when I was in high school.
Yeah, I missed.
So funny.
I missed Slipknot. It was. I think I was. Yeah, I was just older and not listening to new music anymore.
Yeah, they were definitely interesting. I think it was like my high school. It was when they came out.
So somebody said K-pop is greater than Tool. I don't know if that's true.
I mean, whatever. Well, I feel like whatever you like is greater than something else. So it's in your eyes, yes, maybe it is.
Yeah. All right. So let's take a couple more, and then we'll be done. How's that?
Sounds good. I still have 2 videos to shoot tonight. Can't wait.
I know. Okay, so stop asking about metal bands, chat.
Oh my gosh, a Slayer. I went to a Slayer concert and got hit in the face, and that's the last time that I went to a metal show. Or at least went in the mosh pit, as they called it. Do they still call it that?
I don't know if they do anymore, but that's what I called it. You know.
Yeah.
I took many boots to the face back in the day. So we had a little all ages like punk rock club in Morgantown. And so we would get a lot of people coming down from like Red Hot Chili Peppers played in Morgantown, like before they were like huge. So yeah, I went to a lot of shows.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And for some reason Front Page Tech is talking about Africa by Toto. Which I have to admit is kind of a song that I enjoy listening to now. If it comes on in a mix or a playlist or something, it reminds me of my youth. In fact, I was just listening to Hall & Oates a little bit today. You know, I'm old, so
whenever I need something to listen to, I always end up just telling Siri to play One Republic, Imagine Dragons, or Ed Sheeran, because I feel like you can never go wrong with any song that she's going to put on by them.
Okay. Yeah, my daughters. See, I discovered the most of the newer music from my daughter. You know, we'd be on the way to piano lessons, and she'd want to turn on like Sirius XM, whatever the pop station is, and I would be like, okay. Eventually, I didn't hate it all, so So
Yeah, there's some good stuff. You just
yeah,
never know.
yeah, and I do like Ed Sheeran from time to time. So I don't think I've ever admitted that in person to out loud to
There's
anyone.
just so many good, just, I mean, it's like you can't not like it because it's just, there are some songs that are just so catchy and the radio just plays them nonstop. So you really can't get away from it.
Oh yeah, we would hear the same songs going to and from piano lessons. It's only like a
Hmm.
25-minute drive with a 30-minute lesson in the middle, but it would be
Yeah.
the same like 6 songs.
Oh, me and my sister, we will put the same song on just repeat, like just whatever the song is that we're into. Like we will play that song out until we never want to hear it again.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I've done that. I've done that before too. Um, somebody somebody wants to know if you Amazon Echo versus Sonos One. Uh, I guess we also have to throw the HomePod in there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much all switched to HomePod now. I mean, I have one of the Amazon, I actually have an Amazon Light next to me. Well, I can't move it, but
Yeah.
it's there. And then I have like the Echo Show down in my kitchen, and then pretty much HomePod. Other than that, but and then I also have Sonos too, which I use. I don't have the Sonos One though.
Okay.
It's just the old school Sonos where I have to use my phone to play my music. It's so vintage.
You can't talk to it.
I can't talk to it, no, because I have the Sonos bar that's on my TV and
Right.
it sounds so good.
Yeah. I I did a Sonos, like I went out and got like 6 Sonos speakers, including the play bar,
Yeah,
and I was like, I'm just all over the house. I'm gonna get them.
the play bar is really good. I saw they have the mini one now too, which I don't have, but it looks
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. I got to that point where I realized, yeah, I just dropped like $1,700 on
They're
speakers.
expensive. They're so expensive. I remember when I got my first Sonos. I mean, this was probably like a long time ago, and I mean, it's still so expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. But compared to the HomePod, you can get 2 play 1s for the HomePod.
That is so true. But man, I love the HomePod. I mean, I even have one in my bathroom.
Yeah.
It's the best. I love it.
My biggest issue with the HomePod, I mean, I got it to review, and
Mhm.
I really liked the way that it sounded. I was kind of surprised that it sounded, I think, a little bit better than its competition.
Yeah,
But the fact that they released it without any of the abilities to do any of the things that everything else does.
I know. I
Yeah.
know. It was silly. I mean, I definitely said that many times, but now I was shocked how good the stereo sounded. Like I was not ready for it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it sucked because like I couldn't even let them hear it when I was doing the video for it. I'm like, you guys don't understand. Like this really sounds so incredible.
Yeah. I was tempted to, because I, re, I reviewed my HomePod and I returned it
Yeah,
because, I returned I'm banned from returning things to Best Buy for a year.
it happens. We've all been there.
Yeah. So I really want to try stereo HomePod. Um,
It's pretty good. It is really impressive
it's just it's
for sure.
$700. I'm like,
It's a lot.
yeah, yeah. Oh, we got Drew from Taylors of Tech in here. I'm being overwhelmed by Apple sheep at this point.
Well, you know what? If I've got the wool, call me what I don't even know.
It's a
I was
I
gonna try to make some sort of like I am a sheep joke, but I really don't think I could figure it out on the spot. So if you guys want to like figure that out for me, let me
yeah.
know.
I saw where you're going. So
It was a solid effort.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it probably like maybe a 7 out of 10. You didn't really stick the landing.
I did it. Oh gosh.
Yeah. So let's see. Trying to find one more question and then we'll be done.
I mean, it's funny because people do call me an Apple sheep, but like I mean, I built my first PC when I was in high school. Like I played all PC games. I mean, I still game on a PC. Like it's half the time I'm traveling with a PC. Like I do come off as quite the Apple fan, but like I do like everything. So I don't know.
Yeah. There is something for me too there's something unique about Apple that I don't get from a PC. PCs feel very utilitarian, while Apple feel. This is going to sound, people are going to get mad at me in the chat, but Apple stuff's like kind of has its own little soul.
It does. I mean, it's kind of like Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. Like I feel like a lot of people have an Xbox or PlayStation, and then you have some sort of Nintendo thing too. Whereas Nintendo is in sort of its own category,
Right.
I feel like. Whereas Apple, it is something very specific. Like you can get a PC in so many different models. Also, talking about like Android, like there's millions of phones that you can get that run Android, but there's only one phone that you can get that is iOS. So
Right.
I don't know. It's more specific. It is tailored for very specific things. And I'm not a PC hater at all. It's just I like to play one sometimes.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, we all wear our different hats for the sake of the internet. But so Joe Rush asked either me or you to marry him. So I am already married, so I don't know. But I don't know how that's going to work out, Joe. So, okay, Roberta Blake with one more question. If they do a modular Mac Pro, and let me put in a.
He will go all in and just use PC for gaming.
Okay, your thoughts on that? Are we ever going to see this modular Mac Pro?
I think so. I'm not sure. I've seen a bunch of like different versions of the next version of the iMac Pro. I don't know. I mean, I really wanted to use the 5K LG monitor with my iMac, but I can't because it doesn't look the same, and it drove me absolutely crazy. Because like how I have my desk set up, I have on this side of the room is like my Mac station, and the other side is the PC. So it's like I have the Surface Studio set up just how I have like my iMac Pro, and there's like I can't have a separate monitor because it doesn't match the other side of the room, and it doesn't match the way that the iMac Pro looks. So it's like a different aspect ratio, and I was like, this isn't going to work. So if there was a second monitor that would look exactly like the iMac Pro, I would be so happy. That's what I was hoping that they announced a few weeks ago when they actually announced the MacBooks.
Right. Yeah, they need something like the Cinema display or the Thunderbolt display in their arsenal.
I mean, if they do whatever this new Mac Pro is, if they did make a new monitor, I mean, I'm assuming that they will make something to go with that, but I feel like they're going to have to. And I feel like they're slowly kind of saying, look, we are focusing again on the pro community with the launch of like the eGPU. Whether it works or helps you, that's to be determined. For my specific use case, it did not. So I don't know. I mean, I think if you're using like DaVinci and those types of things and Cinema Pro 4D and Maya or whatever else, maybe, but for Final Cut, did not help.
Yeah, because it would use the GPU in editing, but then it wouldn't use it in rendering, right?
Yeah, not at all. And so I think it's very specific use cases. And I think there's only like 2 apps that would use it without an external monitor. I think it was like DaVinci and then Cinema Pro 4D.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I have an iMac Pro, so it was for me. The use case was I definitely won't need it.
Right. It's an embarrassment of riches at this point. So okay, we got a good question from Roberto coming in on a super chat. Thank you, Roberto. And I think it's a good place for us to wrap it up. Justine, favorite female tech YouTubers.
I love Sarah Dietschy. She lives in New York, and I've been such a huge fan of hers for a while. We've done a couple videos together. And also Crystal, I've loved her for so long. All of her videos have looked incredible. And I mean, I know she's not a tech YouTuber per se, but Carly Kloss, everything that she has been doing in sort of that public-facing female empowerment and coding and just being an all-around like awesome person. I love everything that she's doing as well. So I'd say those are like my top 3.
Cool. Excellent. Well, I want to say again, thank you, iJustine, for being here on the Painfully Honest Tech podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks everybody who's been here in the chat. If you're listening with your ears and not your eyes in audio form, well, you missed all the good stuff because we're so interesting visually. But the listening, you can drive your car. So
that is true.
Thanks everybody for being here. I really do appreciate it. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This has been the Painfully Honest Tech Podcast. Podcast so honest it hurts. Until the next time, I'm out.